when you got diagnosed with ADHD, what was that like for you?
It wasn't great for me, actually, to be honest with you. I was still drinking. I'd relapsed. I say relapsed. I'd gone sober last year, and I was counselling because I was having these mad, like, it's almost like psychosis, but it's like, I think what the word is excited delirium, right? So I was like on come downs, like the next day, I was like having these wild, like something would happen and I'd freak out and fucking leave the house or smash something up. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd be fucking losing my mind.
Christ.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. It was happening, and it was like, you know, like the world was against me, and it was like almost like a paranoid. But it wasn't like every time I used, it'd be like once a month, this big episode would happen. And then, but I still didn't associate it with the drink and drugs. I was like, well, I'm bipolar then, or something's going wrong. I saw that there's a serious problem. I started counselling, and this was like a couple of years ago. The counsellor was like, do you drink and use drugs? I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, you know.
There's your answer.
There's your answer. And I was like, don't be stupid. But she was like, I can't work on you unless you go sober. My missus was saying to me at the same time, go sober, you know, you're drinking too much and all that. So I actually went sober for my missus and this counsellor to work out what it was. And that's when the idea of ADHD come up. And but it come up to Christmas, I was getting bored. I wanted to drink again, so I started drinking. And it was around that time when I was drinking again that I got the full diagnosis. But I don't know if I'd say it was a positive thing, because it kind of like said, well, this is why you're different, and do all these things happen to you? And like laid out all of these things, like having multiple thoughts at one time, you know, not being able to focus. And do you start loads of different things? And can you hyper focus on some things, and other things just like, you know, there'll be, if my missus literally puts something on the TV that I'm not interested in, I have to leave the room. I can't sit there, and I like, you know, it used to cause a lot of problems. Or if there's people that I don't like or I'm not interested in, you can fucking see it, like it's written all over my face, or I can't focus on what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And loads of other stuff. Like the big one for me is just towards the end of the day, like in the morning I'm like kind of manic, I'm crazy and wild, and towards the end of the day when like my energy's fading off,
depleted.
Yeah, I'm depleted. It's like I can't just do one task, you know, like, so I'll be like washing up or doing something. Halfway through doing that, I'll be like, oh, I've got to do this, and I'll go and do that. Halfway through that, I'll come back. But it's kind of insane, you know what I mean? And my missus will have to come and stop me and be like, look, you just need to sit down and stop, because you're doing loads of different things. And while she was saying all this to me, once I was discovering this through the diagnosis, it gave me a real feeling of fuck, like, oh yeah, that is my mind. And I suddenly realised that that's not the normal way to be. So it was a bit difficult for me, actually. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't, it's been positive since, but initially, and 80% of people with ADHD have got addiction problems as well, because we've got a dopamine deficiency.
Right.
So we chase what would normally give you what you get from drinking drugs, or someone that hasn't got ADHD, and what I get from them is completely different. And also the stuff that they give you to calm the ADHD down, like the Ritalin and all the other stuff. Yeah. It's like it's a, what do you call it? It's a stimulant, like cocaine.
Oh yeah.
It's like cocaine.
Yeah,
it's like legal cocaine. So when I was taking cocaine, it was like I was going like it would be like, and I'd focus. I'd be off me nut, but I weren't one of these people that's going on and on and on. I'd be off me nut, but focused. Do you know what I mean? And like calm, and like, well, basically the noise would just stop in my mind. And it's the same with drink. So to a certain extent, it's like I was self-medicating for years.